So I was saying the meaning of life is 1, to be happy, and 2, to create. And so many people get stuck in the mentality of go to work, go home, make it through the day, and exist. And that's just it. All they're doing is existing. They're not living.
Yeah, they're not being positive. They're not. They're just looking at what's now, at what's going on right now, not what's going to go on in the future. Because if they keep doing that, then something might happen. They're living in a negative life instead of a positive life.
Good.
And sometimes life can be a mystery, and sometimes and that would mean that you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's going to happen. And sometimes your life could be really clear, like you would actually know what's going on in the future and what's going to go on the day after today.
Okay.
So if you live your life to be happy, then you're a positive person, and your life could be really clear. But if you live and just go to work, come home, and get the day over with, then you're living in a negative life, and your life could be a mystery. So anything can happen at that point.
Okay. So would you say that things are most clear when, because you said when someone's positive and they're living a positive life, the future looks clear and bright.
Yeah.
And if someone's negative, you said that anything could happen. So do you feel like someone who's positive has a clear focus or intention on where they're going? Or, I guess, what did you mean by the difference between there's going to be that clear
part or the mystery?
Yes. Can you elaborate on the clear part versus the mystery part?
Well, the mystery part would be you don't know what's going to happen. Like, you can't tell, like, if you're going to switch jobs, if you're going to move to a different place. You don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what's going to go on in the future. You can't see this picture in your head that almost everybody has.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you live in if everything's clear, you make a picture as a child or as anything, and you hold that picture forever, then that can actually happen. It's a 99% chance that will happen. Not even 99, 100% chance that will happen.
As long as you hold...
As long as you hold on to that thought, that picture in your head, it will happen. It's like, let's say you're going to do a math test at school, and you think you're not going to do it. That's negative. You probably... Then that might happen. You might not get it right. But if you do the math test and you say, I can do this, I can pass, then you can actually pass. It's a possibility. You just have to hold on to that thought, and it will happen.
I love it. Anything to add?
Not really. I'm just kind of mind blown. Like, I've had this realization that life has just been a matter of thought and concepts that you yourself don't really understand until you get down and just pick yourself back up by all of these thoughts, and it's just wow.
You just have to remember that it's a combination of the thoughts and the feelings, because you can have a positive thought but have a negative emotion attached to that thought, and those emotions are going to bring you to a completely different intention point, a completely different vibration. So if you have both a positive thought and your heart is fully invested, if your heart radiates that vision for you, it can't just be a mental picture. It has to be a wholehearted belief, like to your core. Where are you going?
I'm moving to the floor by Toby.
Okay. Okay.
Hello, I'm back.
Okay.
I'm a dog.
You just have to remember that you, like you said, it is a positive and negative thing, but those positive and negatives come from your heart. They come from your soul.
Yeah.
They come from that light inside of you that if you're...
And everyone has this light. And sometimes they can't find it until they get older. Because sometimes kids can find that light.
Kids, I believe, actually have that light from the beginning. And then adults dull that light down. The previous generations have dulled that light because they felt that the only way to get what they wanted was through really, really hard work, and they had to just exist and make it through the day to do what's needed in order to get to a place where they could then do what's wanted. And kids inherently, because they've just come from source, have a true understanding that imagination and heart-based play and happiness are actually the source of that emanation of that intention point. So if you stay in a place of I'm doing what I want, I'm doing what makes me happy, then those needs follow. And that's why people say follow your dreams, because what's coming through you is coming from spirit. It's coming from source. And if you follow something that truly sparks your interest and it makes you happy while doing it, then you're doing the right thing. If you're not doing what you love, you're doing the wrong thing. If you hate your job,
Quit that job.
Quit that job.
See, I believe that, like you guys said with the light, it's like when you're first born, you know that light's there. You can't say anything about it because you have to.
You're a baby. You can't talk yet. You're
Right.
just born.
But as you're existing, you may not be living. It's like all of the ads and all the technical sides, not the spiritual, but the technical sides, it'll come in and it'll basically take the knowledge of the light away, and it'll be like, whoa, what is this? This is really cool. I don't like that. I'm afraid to do this, but I want to. I don't. It's like it's hard to explain.
Where does that fear come from, though? Fear is all in your head. So that's why I'm saying emotions have a lot to do with it, because if fear is only in your head, the only person holding you back from something is yourself. You're telling yourself you can't, you won't, you shouldn't. But that's a conditioning that a lot of adults have, and it's not anyone's quote-unquote fault. It's just the way society has been. But it's now changing. It's going in a completely different direction where kids, teenagers, people are following their passions at a younger age because they get it sooner. They understand that, no, we don't have to do this thing that's annoying or this thing that we hate doing just to get ahead in life. You do the thing that you're really, really freaking good at.
Like art?
If you do the thing that you're really good at and you love doing it, money will come, success will come, happiness is already there. It's when people do...
You do your needs and your wants at the same time. And sometimes people don't notice it. Like, let's say you're buying a new house. You need that new house, plus you also want that new house.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one way. And, let's say how we got Toby. We want him,
Mm-hmm.
but we also need him. So, like, if we all just don't want to play with each other, we have somebody to play with.
I guess that's a way of looking at it. That wasn't where Mommy was going with this.
But still, companion.
I guess it was more along the lines of,
Yeah.
if people truly understood that if they do what they want, their needs are taken care of. The universe supports risk. The universe supports jumping. The universe supports being... The universe supports you doing the fucking thing that scares you.
It's kind of like trying a new thing.
Yes. And if you continuously do the things that you need to do, then that's where at the end of your life, whenever that may be, that's how people end up having quote-unquote regret.
And
Being...
you do something in your life that you really want to do. And then when you get older, you kind of regret that part. Like, I don't want to be rude, but when we went to Kings Island, when you and me did that slingshot ball thingy,
Yeah?
I got really scared, and I thought I regret that part.
Do you regret it? Or is it just one of those things like, I don't think I'll do that again?
Yeah, kind of like that, because it was really scary for me, but I'm also glad that I tried it.
See? But see, that's just it. You were glad that you tried it. I understand what you mean, though.
Yeah.
You're so cute.
That was really scary, though.
From what I've understood, people regret the things they don't do more than they regret the things that they do. And yes, I just said do. Before he says anything.
Yes, I was like, she's gonna say a quote from doo-doo. Oh,
Yippee!
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
No, it's totally fine. All right. So, I have no idea what we're calling this one, but...
Well,
spiritual talk.
there's something I want to say.
What?
If you want to be someone else and you want to be another person, you can't be any of them. You have to be yourself. There's 3 paths. This person, that person, or you. You always want to go for you. You don't want to copy anybody's life, or your life will just be a mess. That's all I got to say. Goodbye.
Oh my gosh.
Agreed.
You're amazing.
Toby agrees.
Oh, Toby's all up in the middle of all this.
Yeah.
All right. It is so beyond bedtime.
So,
Peace out.
love.
Deuces.
Bye.
Yes. Peace, love, happiness. Peace, love, happiness.
Thank you for watching this video, and these are our 2 guests.
Yet another edition of
Not
Lessons with Livy. Special guest,
I'm not
Cody.
I'm not kissing the dog.
Good night.
Ew.